Assalamualaikum and hi, we are students from Civil Engineering Department. We'd like to present about Penang Second Bridge collapse in 2013. I'm Nur Shazlina binti Saifuddin and my groupmate is Muhammad Fariduddin Saifullah, Muhammad Nur Salam, Muhammad Arif Engah and Nur Rafina Shazmin. Penang Second Bridge is one of the largest projects in Malaysia back in 2013. The length of the bridge is 16.4 km, while the length of the expressway is 7.1 km. So the total length of the bridge, including the expressway, is 23.5 km. The total cost of the project is 4.5 billion ringgit Malaysia. The overall construction period is 60 months, which equal to 5 years. The project starts on 8th of November 2008 and finish on 8th of November 2013. The bridge is officially open to public on 1st of March 2014. The bridge connects the mainland of Seberang Perai to Penang Island, which are Batu Kawan and Batu Maung respectively. Next is the details of incident. A 30-meter long section connector of the bridge at Batu Maung interchange, which was under construction at Batu Maung, was collapsed on 6th of June 2013 around 6:50 p.m. The incident caused the death of 1 civilian and injured 2 others, 4 which is 2 civilian and 2 workers from Indonesia and Myanmar. In order to set the victims free, 4 hydraulic jets are being installed to lift the debris and rubble of the collapsed ramp. The injured victims were hurt by falling concrete and steel when the interchange ramp collapsed. The construction companies that involved in this project are Cergas Murni Sendirian Berhad and Giga Engineering and Construction. The possible causes that lead to the incident is being investigated from several aspects. The first one from the Code of Ethics, which is related to Board of Engineer Malaysia (BEM) and Occupational Safety and Health Act (OSHA). The second one is from the designation of the project. The third one is from the management aspect, and the last one is the nature aspect. The first factor that lead to incident is the contractors did not register their workers with the Construction Industry Development Board (CIDB). From CIDB Act 1994, in Act 502, workers at construction site must have industrial personnel registration cards or green card to prove that they were registered with CIDB. The second one is the formwork support failure was the cause of the collapse. According to the Act, contractor and workers needs to follow the exact design and any changes needs to be approved by the engineer or designer. The third one is poor risk management. The risk management of the project must be scrutinized to prevent the unwanted incident. The road is not closed or diverted away and the public has to pass under the concrete ramp which is under construction. The last one is malfunctioning drainage system at the construction site. Another cause that lead to incident is the weather and soil condition. The structure was built on a dry ground. When the rain had turned the low-lying ground into the water retention pond, as there is no drainage to quickly remove rainwater from the area. Next, the following are the objectives of this research project. Number 1 is to investigate the procedural and technical negligence by the contractor for not registering workers to Construction Industry Development Board (CIDB). Number 2 is to investigate the cases that contravene the design project specification that cause of the ramp collapse. And number 3 is to examine the environmental and public safety of the structural collapse due to poor risk management and poor drainage system. That's all for my part. I'll pass to my friends.
Assalamualaikum. I, Nur Rafina Shazmin binti Hazmizam. I will continue with the rescue operation of the Penang Second Bridge collapse. In this part, I will tell about the reported article, the rescue personnel, and the rescue operation. The first reported article on the Malaysia Insider, it said that the scaffold supporting the construction of the second Penang Bridge collapsed and it killed a passing motorist. And the commission on that time stated that the collapse because the failure of the scaffold. The bracing installation is not constructed according to the drawing. Supposedly, the diagonal bracing need to be in the transverse direction to reduce the load-bearing capacity. Also because of the absence of proper supervision of the temporary works. The second article is from Awani. It said that 30-meter concrete slab that weighed more than 1 ton crashed down to the ground. A crane is being used to lift part of the debris for the rescue effort, and several fire brigade trucks were rushed to the scene at about 7 p.m., where the collapse happens around 6:45 to 6:50 p.m. Next is about the rescue personnel that involved in the rescue operation, which include the Fire and Rescue Department, Police Department, Jabatan Pertahanan Awam Malaysia, Saint John Ambulance, Red Crescent Society, and construction workers. It stated that more than 300 rescuers worked on that time. They were clearing the debris, including the scaffolding that collapsed, to search for the survivors. Police cordoned off the junction leading up to the scene for their safety. The rescue operation. As the ramp collapsed around 6:45 to 6:50 p.m., about 7 p.m., the fire and rescue department arrived. They cleared the rubble to allow rescue or push the stranded car. There is a car that crashed down below the slab. They used a camera to detect the condition of the victim. The police command those with missing family to call them as soon as possible. After that, NTSC Penang called Department of Occupational Safety and Health to conduct the investigation. As the probe begins, the primary focus of the initial investigation is on the failure of the formwork support. The rescue operation has been going for more than 14 hours.
Next, I would like to talk about the technical reasons for the failures of the second Penang Bridge. According to the Director of Department for Occupational Safety and Health for the State of Penang, Muhammad Anwar MB, he said that the failure of the formwork support was one of the reasons that causes the ramp to fall. This is based on an early inspection conducted by his team. When we begin a certain project, especially building a bridge, the technical designation of the bridge must be approved first by a relevant and qualified engineer. Any changes that are required for the formwork support must be allowed first through the engineer or the designer of the project to ensure the quality of the bridge that we are going to build. Every parameter and calculation are important in the technical designation to produce the highest quality project produced. Next, according to a report by the Penang Commission Inquiry, the scaffold that collapsed at Piers 6 and 7 of Ramp 2 in Batu Mau was declared as severely faulty or defectively constructed. This concludes that the formwork support of the bridge had failed, which was caused the ramp to fall. Next, the technical reasons. The second technical reason for the failures of the second Penang Bridge is the poor supervision of the temporary works and were not regarded with the same degree of care as granted to the permanent operations. The scaffold supervisor who oversees the safety verification did not know how to interpret the engineering drawings of the scaffold of the bridge. The scaffold also was not erected under the supervision of the professional engineer who had signed and authorized the design of the scaffold. All the main parties involved in the supervisory of the temporary works, including the main contractor, subcontractor, and the supervision consultant, were all named by the Commission as being accountable for the bridge, as being accountable for the collapse of the scaffold or having contributed to its failure.
Next, ethical reasons of failure. The Penang Second Bridge incident was caused by few key violations of ethical practices, especially by engineers. Firstly, the engineers involved has failed in maintaining the safety aspect of the project itself prior to the incident. In executing any project, the paramount aspect is obviously safety, health, and welfare of the public are in the performance of engineers' professional duties. Engineers should recognize that the lives, safety, health, and welfare of the general public. Also, the engineers shall not approve nor seal plans and specifications that do not conform with accepted engineering standards and are not safe design, as it would endanger public health and welfare. They also shall advise proper authority if an adequate review of the safety and reliability of the product or system has not been made, or when the design imposes hazard to the public through its usage. The next ethical breach was Dishonest and Non-Integrity Act. It can be said that the engineers in the project has failed to act in such a manner as to uphold and enhance the honor, integrity, and dignity of the professions. As in this case, the engineers has passed and gave the approval on the installation, although they did not properly inspect and supervise the erection of said structure. Therefore, an engineer shall not use association with non-engineers, cooperation, nor partnership as cloaks for unethical act. The third breach of act was the unethical decision making of the responsible engineers. It is a fact that dilemma or predicament situation is unavoidable, where there is a difficult choice to make between two or more alternatives. Dilemmas are relatively common occurrences in everyone's lives. Like all people, engineers also face dilemmas in their lines of duty. Now, leading towards this incident, we can see that the engineers has undertaken some unethical decision while performing their duties. One great example was highlighted by Penang Chief Minister Office statement, where it stated that there was absence of proper supervision of temporary works, which the Commission remarked was not treated with the same degree of respect accorded to permanent works. Therefore, it is clear that if the engineer had followed and done ethical decision throughout the project, this incident is definitely avoidable. A code of ethics guides engineers in making this difficult decision by ensuring that they choose what is moral. They give a clear guidelines into what decision is ethical and serve the interests of society rather than individual gains.
Hello, my name is Mohammad Fariduddin and I will be talking about the recommendations to prevent similar failures in the future. The first one is adhere to the regulations and designs provided. The design of any structural frameworks need to adhere to the regulations. The engineers that design the structural framework have to ensure that there are no mistakes in designing the temporary structure. The workers also need to install or erect the structures according to the design. In other words, any changes made to the structure need to be consulted with the engineer that designed the structure, whether it is approved or not. The second one is maintain supervision. Site supervisor needs to monitor the workers on site. This is to ensure that there are no misconduct act by the workers at the site. Site supervisor also needs to supervise an installation of scaffolds or frameworks that are done correctly and as per design. They also need to notify the higher ups regarding any issue that arises on site. The third one is allocate safety department. Safety department will investigate and make proper safety plan throughout a project, where they will assess any risk that could harm any individuals. They will also assign the appropriate personnel at each specific task according to the expertise of the safety personnel. For example, scaffolding inspector will check the scaffold that are erected to ensure that it is as per design, or recommend any changes that needs to be made to the contractors if the initial design is not suitable for the work that needs to be done. The last one is uphold and deepen the honor, integrity, and dignity. All site personnel need to uphold and deepen the honor, integrity, and dignity of their profession. By doing this, any accidents or incidents involving other people can be minimized or even avoided. The contractors, supervisors, and even the higher ups must be honest and work with integrity.
Now, conclusion. To conclude, there are lots of ways for the industry to learn and change for the better from this incident, such as the practitioner in construction industry have to be aware with the highlighted issues and avoid the problems to be repeated again in future construction projects. Next, a proper and ethical practices will invariably lead to the same effect. Every party must take full responsibility to prevent problems associated with accidents, delays, and even legal litigation in this case. Lastly, players in the construction industry should investigate and implement the appropriate solution to solve common mishap and unethical acts and problem in the industry. That's all from our group. Thank you.